And second reason is I've always wondered how do you actually become an author and publisher in Malaysia. So I treat it as a challenge, and I want to get out of my comfort zone by first becoming an author, publisher. Second, by using Bahasa Malaysia. It is very uncomfortable to type in Bahasa Malaysia. So I treat it as one to come out of my comfort zone, address the challenge, and yeah, there you go. Finally, I have a product.
Hey friend, welcome back to the 1010 Book Club channel. If you are new here, my name is Billy Chan. I'm a bookworm that is based in Penang. On this channel, it is the best place to explore knowledge and books that help us to think and gain life wisdom. Subscribe to us now and join us in our learning journey. Today, we are going to have Yah Wen to share with us how you can publish your own books and be your own author and also your own publisher. Hear it all from Yah Wen, and I hope that it will give you an insight how you can learn from him too. We are very grateful to have Yah Wen, the one that's sharing the screen right now, together with us. Very brief introduction about Yah Wen. He's a senior firmware development tech lead from IOTG boot firmware engineering team with 20 years of experience in BIOS and bootloader for embedded systems, desktop motherboard, and measurement instruments. And of course, he is also a self-published author. So that is what he's going to share with us today about his personal journey. All right, Yah Wen, without further ado, I'm going to pass it to you.
All right, thank you, Billy. So before that, let me share my screen. All right, just to make sure you guys can see my slides.
I can.
Okay, cool. Because I'm not using PowerPoint, I'm using Google Slides. So yeah, I just want to make sure everything works. Okay, so good morning, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining this 1010 book club. I've heard of this 1010 book club since its inception, and I've never actually really go and join it. Because I thought there'll be just reading about like fictional books and all that, and I'm more on reading like textbooks. So, but then it's great to be coming here and joining this session in May to talk about something that's on the other side. Instead of reading book, what about you writing some books? Okay, so let me get started. Firstly, I like to go through the disclaimer. First and foremost, this sharing is not a promotion or marketing campaign to sell my book. I did not share this session in order as a promotion or marketing campaign to sell my book. No, not. Okay, in fact, I won't even tell you where to buy my book. This event is not an endorsement of my services and product by the organizers and Intel. Billy is not responsible for anything that goes wrong if you simply follow advice and all that. Okay, so this sharing is purely educational purposes and also for create awareness on how you can become a book author and publisher in Malaysia. It's going to be a very interesting sharing. So for those aspiring authors, future J.K. Rowlings, well, maybe this is for you. All right. So feel free to ask me questions, but I would prefer that you ask me after my sharing. Then we can go through the whole Q&A. All right. And if you are not speaking, please mute your microphone in order not to derail me from my train of thought while I'm talking. Thank you so much. So briefly about me, if you're not sure who is this guy, I am, as what Billy introduced, I am the Senior Firmware Development Tech Lead in IOTG. I'm also a master coach, a fat loss and body composition specialist, and a group and personal trainer. I've already published this book, my first book, called Rahsia Penurunan Lemak Badan. In English, it means The Secrets of Fat Loss. And I published and start selling it in just a few months ago, February this year. I've also written a couple of columns in this magazine called Caliber. If you are a Public Mutual Gold member, then you would have received this magazine. I forgot which month it is, but it was last year. I was also invited as a radio guest speaker to talk about health and fitness with a local radio station called IFM. If you are as old as me, you would have remembered IFM is formerly known as Station 5, Di Wutai, a Chinese station. That was me in this picture in 2012. You can see I'm well, not so healthy from the peak, but I've managed to transform myself into what I currently am right now. When I was pretty unhealthy, I have the whole package. I have borderline fatty liver disease, high uric acid. I was really overweight. I'm not a very tall guy, but to be overweight and being not very tall, I literally look like a tuna can. So I would have frequent headaches and sickness and falling ill often. Not very productive. So when before a 6 months reload trip to US, I jokingly told my colleagues and friends back then, that was 2011, that hey, I'll come back from US with a six pack. And everybody laughed at me. Even I laugh at myself because I did meant to mention it as a joke. But then in the back of my head, I was thinking like, okay, all this joking and laughter is like very normal, but then a part of me is thinking, hey, why not? What's stopping me? So that started the journey of me going out to seek the best mentors I know, from personal trainers to bodybuilder champions to health coaches. And I also have a mentor who is a cardiologist based in United Kingdom. And I took lots of courses and finally I got myself certified as a fat loss and body composition specialist. I like to help my clients solve their health and fitness issues. For example, knee pains and all that, they come to me and I put them through a program to help them fix all these problems. So as word got out that, I'm doing all these, and finally I set up a coaching business in order to help others from basically all over the country. I do have clients from Kota Baru, Sabah, KL, and things like that. So let's talk about the book. So you want to write and sell a book, right? So this is what we are talking about today. But have you ever thought of how do you need to walk into a bookstore and ask them, hey, I want to sell this book, can you help me sell and all that? Well, I may give you my personal journey of what I went through, what are the BKMs that you can actually follow. But then bear in mind, this is not an extensive guide. There may be other things that I need to do, which I'm not aware of. So again, learning is a continuous journey. It's always a continuous process. But what I've learned so far, I'm sharing with you today. Now, first thing, step one, who do you want to sell your book to? Who do you want to read your book? You are writing for someone else to buy and read your book. There is no book in the world that is general purpose that can cover every single layers of population. We don't even need to talk about the world, just Penang. Who are the target audience in Penang that you want to sell and hope that they will read your book? So knowing who they are before you even start writing your first word will help you to frame your mind in deciding a few key factors. Number one, using the right level of details. Now, we being technical people, engineers and all that, sometimes we can go really, really deep into the details, exactly, for example, the digital, what exactly which bit, which offset and all that. Sometimes these are things that people don't care at all, right? So you need to know the right level of details based on your target audience. And the choice of words and terms that you use will be important in writing your book based on the target audience. For example, I'm talking about fitness, okay? Let's talk about building muscle. Now, almost everybody understands the term building muscle. But if you want to go deeper, it is called hypertrophy. Who will understand the term hypertrophy unless I explain it to you? So you need to know the right level of detail so that you can have the right choices of words and the terms that you use. Also, the choice of language. Your target audience, are they mainly English speaking and reading, or Chinese, or our national language, Bahasa Malaysia? Now, for my book, I have chosen Bahasa Malaysia. Why? Number one, BM is the national language. Like it or not, BM is the national language. And I do have a wide audience of people understanding BM. Also, it is because my services as a personal trainer, fat loss and body composition specialist, sometimes there are certain groups of population who cannot afford my services. but they can afford a book. So this is great because I can, share my knowledge to this group of people who cannot afford my services, and they can still reap the benefits from what I know and learn. And with that, you also can set the selling price and how you're going to market your book. If you can write a very great book, but you're selling it for 485 ringgit 70 cents, how many people will buy your book actually? Maybe one person will buy, and then they'll go photocopy and share with the rest. So you need to understand who you are first before you set the selling price. Okay, make it affordable, yet you still have a little bit of profit. And how are you going to market your book? How are you going to sell it? Are you just going to print 5,000 copies and go to every bookstore and ask them to sell your book for you? Or you do it yourself in online e-commerce websites? So I'm going to talk about that later. Also, now with the digital age, are you going to write just an ebook or a hard copy or both? Because certain people, like me, I'm the type that I must hold a book to read. This is ikigai, by the way. I must hold a book to read. If you ask me to scroll through my screen to read 100 pages of book, I will doze off easily. My mind cannot focus. I cannot read. So I'm not the ebook type of guy. But some people, they don't like to hold a book. They like to put everything on their phone, on their tablet, on their Kindle, and all that. So knowing your target audience, how they would read your book, how you're going to sell to them, the language that you choose is very important. So don't start writing your book before understanding who is your target audience. All right. Step 2. Now, in order for you to publish a book, you cannot publish it as an individual person. You cannot say, okay, I'm Billy Chan, I want to sell a book. Cannot. You must have a company. You must have a company. And it is now very, very easy to set up your own business in Malaysia. You can either set up as a sole proprietor, that means the company only have you as the employee. You can set it up as your own name, like Billy Chan. Then you can also set up as a partnership, that means you partner with one or two or more partners in order to form your company. And you don't actually have to go and visit any government office or whatever. You can do everything online at this website. I provided the link here in SSM, easybiz.ssm.com.my. Registration, uploading of your documentation like your IC, and even payment channel is all done in this one portal that you can do so easily. In fact, I got my company registered in just 2 days. Very, very fast. Okay, so once you are done all that, they will issue you an official company registration certificate. Okay, you must download it because they don't keep it at their site. You must download it it's a PDF, by the way. Download it, print it, whatever, file it, because you're going to need this for a few purposes. Number one, if you're opening a business banking account, you will need this certificate as proof. Second, you have a company right now, you must declare the income tax in the form of Form B. So they will need these registration numbers and all that. And lastly, registration of something called ISBN, which I'm going to talk about later. All right. So know your audience. And number 2, set up your own company. Step 3. Now you are starting to, okay, you want to get your hands dirty and start typing, type away. However, before you start, just like writing beautiful and wonderful software, you need to organize and plan your work. Organize and plan is very important. So my tips here is keep it simple, okay? You are not writing Intel Electronic Design Specification Volume 2, which is like 7,000 pages long. No, okay? Keep it simple. Imagine if you want to sell to someone, for example, like your own parents, to read your book, then write it in such a way that your parents would understand. So you need to simulate how your target audience will read the book. Okay, simulate it. Okay, if I'm that person, if I take hold of my book, okay, and I flip through, I look at the content, table of content. Oh, I can see a good flow. Chapter 1 is going to talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It makes them excited of want to keep on reading your book. So simulate how your target audience will read the book would be very nice. It puts you in a different frame of mind. Have a very good flow and avoid overlapping between chapters. People sometimes like to read chapter by chapter. Okay, they don't like to jump here and there. And if you have a few points that you want to talk about, don't spread it all across different chapters. Keep it within the same chapter itself, have a good flow. Okay, chapter 1 is done. Now I go to 2, I read it. Okay, I understand. Then 3, 4, 5 before the conclusion. So have a very good flow and avoid overlapping. Now, if you are not sure whether what you have planned out is, good enough, the flow is good enough, whether the target audience would love this kind of book, then get opinions from friends, family, or colleagues. In my case, when I came up with this jadwal kandungan, or the table of contents, I actually screenshot this and I sent to some of my clients. I said, hey, I'm going to publish this book, and this is the table of contents of what I'm going to talk about. What do you think? Is this a book that you would write to? Oh, somebody didn't mute. Okay, so if you are, I ask my clients, if is this a book that you would want to read? And they say, oh yeah, it is nice. It's exactly, what I would love to read. It's organized in an easy to understand chapter. In my case, I'm talking about the 3 principles of health and fitness, which is eat, sleep, gym. So each chapter, I'm going to talk in detail what does I mean by eat and sleep and gym. And also I provide a checklist for people to follow on how to lose fat effectively and all that before the conclusion. So it is a very easy to flow, easy to understand. If I'm finishing reading on the sleeping chapter, okay, I can stop. Now I understand sleep. If I'm not sure, I can still go back directly to page 53 to read again. So make it easy, all right? That will form a very good flow. Now, step 4, this is the time you start writing. Now, before that, you start writing. But before you even type the first word, understand, if you are printing a hard copy book, visualize how is the target audience going to hold your book and flip through the pages. The first most obvious thing you need to consider is actually your book size. Is it A4 size, standard A4, A5, smaller a bit, custom size? So you need to understand that. For me, my target audience is basically the general population who cannot afford my services and will understand Bahasa Malaysia, and maybe they may be a bit older with some eyesight problems. I like big, huge book with large font sizes. So A4 it is, and that's what I do. So do this first. Before you start writing, whatever software that you are using, create the template for each page. You need to, number 1, take care of your margin. For A4, it is better to have 1 inch of margin from top, bottom, left, and right. Remember, your book is going to be binded, and you need to leave some space. There will be some error when it comes to printing, so leave some space. 1 inch is very, very nice. Okay, keep 1 inch, set the margin, save it as a template. Every new page that you created will have this same margin. Secondly, 1.25 lines of spacing with a minimum font size of 11 for A4 is a very comfortable spacing and also font size for people to read. Okay, comfortable in the sense that they can still write their own notes in between lines. They can use highlighters and all that. Okay, don't use single line spacing. It is all very packed like sardine, and the longer they read, the more headache they have. So don't make people eyes, focus too hard just to read your book. Make it easy. Double line spacing is a bit too big. That's for final year project thesis to double line. 1.25. Take it from me. This is highly advised. So, and between paragraphs, this is where you can have double line. Okay, it gives a mental break. Okay, I'm done with this paragraph. Then it's going on to the second paragraph. Now, when I say writing a book, the first software people say Microsoft Word. No, you don't have to purely use Microsoft Word. There are so many software out there. I actually use Google Slides. It's a presentation software. Google Slides, number 1, because it's free. It's totally free of charge. As long as you have a Google account, just use any free software, Google Slides. I can use Google, Docs also, but I prefer to use Google Slides. Why? Because I actually downloaded a free template from online that's free to use, commercial use, and I just edit the template, the coloring, the spacing, the format, and yeah, it's free. Okay. Step 5. Continue on step 4. Now, a book can be purely just words. Some people don't mind that, but for me, I like graphics. I like pictures. Especially when you talk about fat loss and exercise, people sometimes cannot visualize if you're just all words. So having pictures would help a lot. However, that does not mean you can just go Google image and steal any photos, just copy and paste, go to your friend's Facebook account and copy his picture and paste in your book. You cannot do that, please. Please use free-to-use licenses sites like Pexels. I provided the capture here, pexels.com. This site is very great because it provides you free photos. The photographers actually uploaded their photos in Pexels, and the terms and conditions explicitly say this is free for commercial use. However, you cannot resell these photos as your own. You can actually make modifications to the photos and all that, but as long as you understand that it is free to use. Okay, now all these things, if I never attend all the Intel annual training on the doing the right thing, I would have never known. So thank you to Intel for the annual trainings. Okay, do the right thing. So if you use your own photo, let's say you take a photo specifically just for the book, and if your photo contain another person, your friend, all right, make sure you obtain his or her personal release approval. Don't give the person a shock. How come suddenly his or her picture is now in some book and sold all over Malaysia? Okay, you may get a lawsuit, all right, if your friend doesn't like it, but make sure you obtain personal release approval, okay? Do the right thing, everything in black and white. Again, thank you for Intel for the training. Now, don't ever use illegal photos. Malaysia have laws when it comes to publication. You cannot put naked photos, don't put violent photos, and all that. You know the drill, okay? No illegal photos allowed. Next. Now you start writing and all that, then okay, your book is about almost halfway done. Now this is the great time for you to start registering your upcoming book with the National Library, the Perpustakaan Negara. Why? Because every book that is sold in Malaysia needs to register with National Library at this website, depository.pnm.gov.my. Okay, why? Because they will give you this special ISBN code. I'm not sure what ISBN stands for already, International Serial Barcode Number or something like that. So this ISBN code will be given to you, number one, as a publisher. Every publisher has a unique ISBN code. Just treat it like your worldwide ID with National Library. Okay, and for each book that you publish, there will be additional number added behind your publisher code. So each book that you print out and sell, regardless whether it's ebook or hard copy, will have a special ISBN code. Now, if you write a book and you make some changes and now you release the second edition or revised edition with added new contents and all that, then you need to reapply for a new ISBN again with National Library at the same website. So each ISBN that you obtain can actually be used for multiple languages of the same book. Let's say I write this book first in Bahasa Malaysia, and I go and translate it. Now it's in English. I want to sell the hard copy of the same English book. I can reuse the same number, no problem. Okay, so if you want to understand more, go to this depository, go register. It's for free. Read the FAQ, very detailed, very detailed. Now, if you have an ebook and also a hard copy, you need to have different ISBN for each of them. You cannot share the same ISBN between ebook and physical hard copies. So application is actually very simple. Now, when should you start applying? When, in my case, when I'm about like 40% done, like in the second chapter, almost there, then I start applying. Why? Because in the application, you can actually set when is your estimated publication date. And when you have an estimated publication date, the National Library will just remind you, okay, please publish your book within this time frame. And if you have a major writer's block, suddenly you cannot write anymore, and you need to push out your publication date, you can also actually do that with the National Library at this website. So if you take any book, you turn behind, there will be a barcode behind, okay? The one I'm pointing in the arrow. So this is the ISBN. And when you have an ISBN, it's a very proud moment. It's like, wow, it looks like a real book right now, okay? So every ISBN barcode needs to be printed on the back cover together with the price that you intend to sell. You can set any price you want. You don't necessarily have to sell at that price because it allows you to make marketing, give discounts, giveaways, and all that. All right. Next. We're almost towards the end. I'm going fast today. Step 6. This is a very crucial and important step. Proofreading. Now, you know, sometimes we feel very proud of our own creation. And I understand. I'm also very proud of my own, product when I finish writing the book. Like, wow, okay, this is gonna be a great book. But remember, guys and girls, keep your ego aside. What you think is great may not be great to someone else. Please get someone to proofread your book. That means once you're done, have the first draft, print it out, get it someone who understands to read your book. Now, why? Because when you have poor language and you have lots of spelling mistakes, it's actually a killer. It makes your book seem very poor quality. It's like, wow, why this author cannot even explain a point in a clear language and also have so many spelling mistakes. Now, especially when the language that you intend to use is not your first language. Like for me, Bahasa Malaysia is not my first language. So I actually ask someone to proofread it for me. Now, you can, if you don't know who to look for, you can actually hire professional proofreaders. You just Google proofreading Penang or something like that. You'll come out a full list of services that you can actually hire. Okay, and why Penang got a lot? Because there's a lot of proofreaders helping the master thesis students and the PhD students in USM to proofread their work. I found out about that. So if you cannot hire professional proofreaders, get someone who is the master of the language and knows what you are trying to write about. In my case, I actually hired one of my clients who is Ustazah. She's my client, and I asked her, okay, I'm gonna publish this book now. If you're reading in your own capacity, would you understand that? Then she read, okay, I tak faham lah. Okay, then I will explain and all that. So she will use this kind of highlighter, what are you exactly trying to say, and why did you choose this word? So yeah, it feels you feel humbled when someone is correcting you and making sure that the point that you're trying to put across is written properly using the right words, using the right grammar, and making sure that simple things like your punctuation marks and all that is all correct. So be patient while proofreading is in progress. Okay, this is not like Intel. I want the release tomorrow and all that. It won't happen. Okay, be patient. I actually completed writing my book in 1 month. I took 4 weeks to write my book, about 100 pages, and the proofreading took 1 month as well. So be prepared for a one-to-one. Okay, be patient. So last one, the most exciting part, printing and selling. So printing is nice, but a few things to take note. If you want your book to be very colorful, if you have lots of pictures, and pictures looks great in colors, but colors are very expensive. Okay, just like your own printer, color ink is more expensive than black color. So for me to keep my printing cost low, I keep the contents in black and white. Okay, black and white, but I make sure that the contrast is good enough in high DPI, okay, high resolution, and the cover page, I make it colorful. As you can see from this, the cover page, the side and the behind is all very colorful. Okay, it's actually a photo of myself. All right, and many book printers are available in the country. I actually took some time to go and hunt. I searched, okay, is there anywhere near USM, because there's a lot of people printing TCs and all that, right? And I hunt around and actually landed up with this company called Book Printing, because they are actually not based in Penang. They're based in KL, if I'm not mistaken. But I like the fact that they actually give you advice on what are the things you should take note. For example, the margin, the A4 size and all that, they teach you. And the process to order a printing is very, very simple. Just fill in some things in the online form, click submit, an email will be sent to you, make your payment, and they will start printing. And if they have questions, and if you want samples, they can also actually do that. Now, the PNM, that means the Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia, the National Library, if you want to sell ebook, they actually require you a web portal. Okay, without a web portal, you cannot sell your ebook. In my case, I use my own coaching service website. Okay, you can actually use online e-commerce like Shopee, Lazada, and all that. Okay, you can actually use that to sell ebook and also hard copy. Now you may ask, oh, can you sell in physical bookstores? Honestly speaking, I don't know how to do that yet because that's not my goal. I don't want to sell my book there because number one, they will take a huge cut from your profit. Secondly, like certain bookstores, the one starts with M, they actually use their own ISBN method. That means anything that sells from their shop, they have to use their own ISBN. So that's a different process. So for me, I'm not intending to be the next best, seller, author, or whatever. I just want to do something on the side enough for me to, give me some nice stuff, buy some stuff. So I do it everything myself. I DIY, I sell it on my own website. So you doing so, you own the sales, you do your own marketing, you deliver the books yourself, everything you own, but also you own all the profits. And this is the nice stuff about it. So you have the freedom to set discounts, to set Hari Raya promotions, to do whatever you want if you do it yourself. Okay. So that is the 7 steps of how you can be an author in Malaysia. Very simple. I keep it very high level and simple for you to understand. Now, other considerations when you want to write and publish and sell your own book is you might think, oh, I need to sit down a few hours a day to write and all that. No, you can actually write whenever you can. Writing a book is not like you just turn on and then you start writing very good quality book. No, sometimes you may write something and the whole page can be deleted because it's full of crap. You are not even sure what you are typing about. So write whenever you can. However, we are all full-time Intel employees. Please do it out of Intel hours. Don't use Intel hours to do this kind of like side stuff. Okay, moonlighting is not encourageable. Preferably not using Intel access. Okay, if you can use your own personal computer and laptop. Don't use the Microsoft Word that Intel allow you to use because it has this metadata embedded in it, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, don't use the Office that Intel provide to you. Okay, so that's why I chose Google Slides. It's free. Intel doesn't own it. All right, I can do it in any computer. I can even type it from my phone. So for me personally, I took 1 month to write the book. So my time is, after I'm done with dinner, I have my bathe and I settle my kids. Okay, the 8 to 10 p.m. time on weekdays is the best time for me to start sitting down and writing. I close the door and I start writing, refer to my notes and all that. Nobody disturb me around this time. And during the weekends is when I have more time. Okay, whenever I feel like it, I'm not tired, I'll just sit down and start typing away. Okay, you must consistently push yourself and tell yourself, hey, you are gonna write this book. If you don't do it now, when, right? So sometimes we are a bit lethargic. We delay. We want to have the result, but sometimes we don't put action on it. So learning how to plan your time, having a good schedule. Okay, maybe Saturdays between 3 to 6 is my book writing time, something like that. Okay, so plan it out so that you really sit down and focus and commit to it. Okay, just like many things in life, including health and fitness, if you don't commit, then you will never achieve whatever you want to achieve. So once you're done, please read and reread again what you have written. I have written my book probably 100 times already. Read and read again. Sometimes you read the second, the third, the fourth time, you may even realize, why did I even write this? Am I repeating the same thing between the first and the fourth paragraph? You'll notice things like this. So read and reread what you have written. Maybe there's a better way that you can deliver the same message without repeating yourself or using this particular sentence or words. Write because you want to share your knowledge to the readers, not because of profit. Don't start writing a book or want to become an author because, you want to, become a millionaire by selling billions of books. No, that is a wrong goal. Okay, you want to write because you want to share your knowledge, what you know, or maybe you are very good in storytelling. And if you just tell a story to a few group of people, then not enough. Why not you just scale it by publishing a book? So you have to genuinely be interested in sharing what you know. Maybe you are good in storytelling, then yes, share that skills to have to all the people. For me, I have knowledge in health and fitness, but I can only reach out to a few people. So I want to share my knowledge to a lot more by scaling it in the form of my book. Okay, the profit will come later. Don't worry about it. So work on your presence. Okay, once you're done all that, you print your book. Okay, you're ready to start selling, but nobody buys your book. Well, maybe you are not working on your presence by using social media. Now everybody is on social media, Facebook and TikToks and Instagram and all that, right? It is a powerful marketing tool. Very rarely people read newspapers nowadays. Most people are on Facebook. Some people are still on radios and all that. So use, Facebook groups. There are lots of Facebook groups. Let's say for me, I'm selling a book on health and fitness, on how to lose fat. So I joined these Facebook groups where I know they have like hundreds of thousands of members. We are talking about exercise, fat loss, and all that. Okay, so I have a presence there and say, hey, by the way, if you want to know more, this is my book. You can go here and buy. And because you are a member of this group, I'm giving you a special discount. So make them feel special. Make them feel like, wow, okay, I'm a member of this group now. I can have access to, Yah Wen's knowledge by buying this book. And also, people love the word free. Free. Use the word free. For example, free delivery. Oh, you have no idea. The term free delivery actually excites people and want to buy them. You tell them this is the price. I say, okay, 80 ringgit, but delivery depends on the delivery company. Then they're like, okay, still thinking about it. But you say, okay, I'm selling at 80 ringgit, includes shipping all over Malaysia, regardless of whether you're in Sabah or Perlis or Johor. They will just buy. They don't care. All right. But of course, it's already baked into the profit. So do your own calculation. Make sure that you are also not losing money by selling books. Okay, so that is all my sharing that I have on how you can be an author and a company owner, a book publisher in Malaysia. My book was first published and start selling in February. By mid of March, I think it's also out already. So now I have already printed the second batch and currently working on the English translation. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Yah Wen. So I think I will start like out of curiosity, Yah Wen. I want to ask you, right? How do you feel after all this? After all this, seeing the things, right? It's probably like what do you feel?
It's like having my fourth child. It's great, right? When you see the first time I see the physical book delivered to my home, it's like wow, it gives you a sense of fulfillment and accomplishment. It's like seeing our new silicon power up without issues directly putting to the OS. So and then you think back of like, oh wow, the things that I have gone through, the proofreading, the multiple read and reread, and all the mistakes I did. For example, I wasn't aware of the margin. I start typing away and then I realized that, oh, I need 1 inch on each side. Then I have to like reformat. It wastes a lot of time. So with all these experiences and the key learnings, and eventually you see the real final product. It gives you a great sense of accomplishment, and I do feel very proud of my book.
Very great. For those that are listening, right, feel free to unmute yourself and ask the questions. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Question: what actually drive you to write a book? I'm not sure whether you mentioned this before, but I just
yes. No problem. I already explained it earlier, but I'll explain it again. So I'm a health and fitness coach, okay? And not everybody can afford my services. So in order for me to reach out and share my knowledge to more people, in order to scale that, I use this book as the method, the way. And second reason is I've always wondered how do you actually become an author and publisher in Malaysia. So I treat it as a challenge. And I want to get out of my comfort zone by first becoming an author, publisher. Second, by using Bahasa Malaysia. It is very uncomfortable to type in Bahasa Malaysia. So I treat it as want to come out of my comfort zone, address the challenge, and yeah, there you go. Finally, I have a product.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
So Yah Wen, there's a question in the chat. I just read it out for you.
Go ahead.
You need to have Dewan Bahasa and Pustaka to verify spellings and your proofreading?
Good question. I did not do that, and I don't think it is needed. But if you want to, I think you can go and look it up, research. But I personally feel no need, because why? Before I start writing, I actually have a one-on-one with a CEO of a local company, Advanced Binary Network, and he also published a book called 100 Mistakes a New Entrepreneur Do in Malaysia, something like that, in BM also. So I seek mentoring from him. I say, hey, okay, I saw you have this book. I buy your book already. How do you become a book author? So he teach me the steps and all that. It's a bit outdated compared to what I share. And he himself also said, there's no need to go to Dewan Bahasa and Pustaka. In fact, his proofreader is his own mother.
So there's a question from Shipe. Do we need to go through any government bodies to make sure the book content is not prohibited?
Usually no, but okay, for every ebook that you write, after your publication, you need to upload that copy, the final version copy, to the National Library. They will archive it, okay, and they probably screen through it. And if you have a physical copy, you need to ship 5 copies to the National Library for them to archive it as well.
Oh, okay. So you ship 5 of your books there?
I'm still waiting because there's a lot of books being published every day, and I'm still waiting for my turn. They will tell me the date and the address, then I'll just ship it to them. But the ebook can be done online. Just upload. That's it.
Okay. All right. And feel free to ask the question. I have one that in mind, right? So I think it's more like what kind of feedback that have you received from your people who read your book, and what do you say about physical and ebook?
What do they say or what do I say?
What means based on the feedback? Like is that ebook is much more effective, or is that physical book is more effective? I think in the sense of like the sales of the books, I'm just curious. Yeah.
Okay, I have a different marketing approach. I actually set one price and you get both ebook and the hard copy. So while you're waiting for your hard copy to arrive, you actually have access to the ebook already, and the ebook have all the colors. Other colors. So so far I have not received any bad feedback, which one is better and all that. And people who read my book say, oh, okay, they learning new stuff that they never learned before, never heard from their own doctors before and all that. And finally they sort of like know, oh, okay, these are the things that I need to do in order for me to learn and teach my body how to burn fat effectively.
Awesome. Thanks, Yah Wen.
But also bear in mind that we are now trending into a population and modern society where reading is getting less and less. Right? People seldom have a book in their hands already. So you need to really understand your target audience and excite them with your book. Okay.
Interesting.
Any questions? I saw one from Sulin, right? We do have professional proofreaders for our publication. Sorry, our meaning what? Intel. I'm not sure. But as I said, professional proofreaders can be hired. You just Google, they are around.
There's a question for you from Patrick. How much in total initial cost to publish a book? To publish
Wow.
I think your book. Just say your book, okay?
Firstly, thanks, Patrick, the LinkedIn superstar, for joining this session. Okay, good question. How much is the total initial cost? Okay, initial cost. Okay, my book. Printing would cost about 50% of the selling price. Okay, depending on how many pages and how many pages of colors, and also the size. If your book is custom size, weird size, that no standard paper size, then it's even going to be more expensive. People need to spend money to cut to the size. Okay, so use standard size, A4, A5, whatever. That will form the most of the cost. Now the second one would be the shipping, but shipping now, because of so many logistics company, right? It is now so competitive, and you can get it for very cheap. For me, I deliver each book, it cost me about 5 ringgit. very, very cheap price. In fact, you don't even need to have a printer to print the whatever. You know, it comes with an envelope with a barcode that you just scan and drop off at the center, and they just ship it to all over Peninsula and Sabah and Sarawak. You can go for another company, which is about 5-7 ringgit. International, I never ship because I do not know how. I do have people from overseas asking me how they can buy and get the book in their hands. I tell them when you come back to Malaysia, only you buy. Okay, so Patrick, around 40 to 50% of your selling price would be good. In terms of amount, it varies. I don't know how thick is your book, how many colors, what's the size, and all that. And Erica asks, how many copies you printed in my first batch? Okay. So the good question. For me, a total newbie, a nobody in the book world, okay, I thought like, okay lah, probably nobody will buy my book, and probably will buy my own clients will only buy my book. Or surprisingly, no. First trial I did is I printed 24 copies, 4 for samples, 20 for the volume. And once I got the samples, I read through it, make sure there's no mistakes, no printing errors. Then I told the printing company, go ahead and print the rest. And within a week, they shipped me, and I completely sold out everything maybe a week plus later. Yeah, a week plus. There's someone who actually bought 3 copies because they want to give it as a gift to their friends. Because my third page has this book is dedicated, is a gift to who and who from who, that kind of page. Yeah. Okay, Sulin, again, if we want to translate a book, who do we pay the royalty to? Or write a book based on another book? You have to be careful, Sulin. If you are translating someone else's book and you want to sell it, my advice is don't. But you can read a book and write your own opinion, okay, as a new book, then okay. So please don't translate someone else's book and sell it. I think, yeah, you're treading on dangerous ground. Okay. All right, Patrick, appreciate your answer. Motivates me to publish a book. Patrick, hook me up. I can mentor you. I guide you through. No problem. Free of charge because you're a fellow Intel employee. And I also excited for you to start publishing your own book. Yeah, we should have more book publishers from Intel. You know, Intel is a very interesting place because we are very good in what we do in our daily job in the company. But I noticed of my years of working in Intel, a lot of you are also very talented in other ways. We have like from people who can bake really great cakes and all that, and we have like a really good salesman. We have very good talented people, musicians, and all that. So yeah, feel free to use your talent and do something good about it.
Hey, one more question.
Go ahead.
How do you decide your cost? What price to charge? How do you decide?
Again, point number 1, know your audience. Okay, if I want to sell to a pakcik and makcik in a kampung, would they spend 150 ringgit to buy a book? The answer is probably no, right? But if you tell them, yeah, it's about 60 to 70, then they will consider. All right, they will consider. So know your target audience will know exactly how much you want to set the price point of your book.
So you do market research first on based on your target audience. Oh, okay.
Yes,
okay, thanks.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Let's go. More questions. Come on. Let's encourage more book publishers in Malaysia and in Intel.
Right.
No more.
All right. I think if no more, I think we are good. Let me see.
We have one from Patrick again. All right, Patrick, I'll read your question. What would you do if you found someone photocopying your book? As we know, photocopying is quite common. There might be only one person, but photocopy. Okay, Patrick, good question. In fact, I asked these same questions to the mentor, the CEO of that company. And I said, what's stopping someone to buy the book and then he don't have a photocopy and blast out to his friends and family members? The answer is there's no way you can stop it, especially ebook. One PDF just in WhatsApp groups, hundreds of people get it. Okay, there is no way that you can stop it. No, unless you very diligent, go and check out bookstores and ask everybody, you have my book, show me. There's no way. So says something that you cannot stop. In PDF, there's ways of like encryption and allowing people only to read from certain apps and all that. There are creative ways, but for me, I don't care. They want to copy, go ahead. They want to share, go ahead. Because why? That indirectly is a promotion for me and my services already. They will start to know, oh, who is this master coach Yah Wen in Malaysia? Oh, the things he writes is very different. Oh, he's a Chinese guy. Oh, he write in Malay. Very good. So these things that is treated like a indirect promotion. That's why I say your motivation of publishing a book should not be profit only. If your motivation is profit only, then yes, you'll be very concerned about this or people stealing my book and all that, right? But if you are genuinely interested in really sharing your knowledge to the general public and to your specific target audience, then yeah, you will not worry too much about it. And also, you can add this as some of your accomplishment in your resume, your LinkedIn profile, book author, publisher, and all that. Yeah, it makes you looks like someone, wow, doing all this stuff, accomplishing all this stuff, getting out of comfort zone. It tells people a lot about you.
Good, very good.
Copying is the best compliment. Correct. Sell it cheap enough for people to buy. Well, yes, you can sell it cheap. Okay, you can do promotions. All right. Or one marketing strategy that I learned but I did not do is that you can actually do like competitions and giveaways. Like for example, every 10th person who buy my book will win 100 ringgit touch and go vouchers or something like that. Then okay, people will start buying. You can be creative as you want, as long as it's legal. Okay. So yeah, it's like what Erica said. The book is not its entirety, right? You must tie it with your own personal branding. People know you. People start to be aware of you. You need to build your own branding, personal branding over time. It does not happen immediately just because you have a book, right? For example, like Patrick, I've seen him over the years become a superstar in LinkedIn. Right? This is personal branding. So when people start to be aware that this person exists and all that, then good things will happen. For example, I got invited to IFM radio stations and all that. So all these things will happen. So Siobhan, are you willing to be mentor for publishing book? How many mentee would you accept? You can be my very first. Don't worry, just hook me up. Just PM me on the side, and I'll coach you. I may not understand what you are trying to write. Okay, for example, someone want to write a book about the badminton skills in 3 steps or something like that. I have zero knowledge in that. Okay, but I can teach you on the other things like the framework, the steps to go through, the set up the company and all that. I can teach you, no problem. Sulin, do you write only fitness books? Yes, because that's what I do. Health and fitness. I am not good in any other things. Don't ask me how to write a book in parenting because I do have questionable parenting methods. But so yeah, I'm not going to write a book about like how to be a good firmware developer in an engineering company. No, that's not me. I do firmware day in day out with Intel, so don't ask me to write something that's already looking at it every day. So no. Okay. On that note, let's say you are a very good engineer in Intel. You're very good in that area, okay? And you want to write a book about it. Now, be careful when you write this book because it's very close to your daily work. So make sure, again, don't expose Intel secrets. Number 2, don't refer to any Intel terms and keywords, and don't talk about like Raptor, Lake, Meteor, all this stuff. Don't talk. Never talk about it. Make it simple and public information. That means if I want to Google whatever you just write, I can easily find it. Okay, don't ever talk about Intel stuff if you intend to write a book that is related to your day-to-day work. Okay, be very careful. Be very careful. So write something that's unrelated to Intel work lah. How to beat traffic jam to work in 5 simple steps. Something like that. Okay. Hussein. Oh, thank you. Yep. This is the point of my sharing. I want to motivate you guys, treat your hobby. You can read a lot of books, but what does it take to become an author? Yeah, who knows? Today, after this sharing, we'll have like 5 or 6 more authors. Sulin, I only want to write about essential oil and food. Good. Food is a very interesting topic. You can write, for example, 50 Malaysian foods that you can eat and won't grow sick. Oh, yeah, very interesting. See, I give you a title already. Wow. Okay. So, Patrick, you can write a book regarding to nutrition intake for bodybuilding. I actually talk about that in my book already. Sorry, not going to tell you guys where to buy my book because this is not the intention of the sharing. Okay, it is how to teach you how to become an author. Okay, so lying. If we quote a finding from medical experts, how do we ask permission to use it? Okay, so lying, this is exactly same as how you write your final year project thesis and things like that. If you refer to something, make sure that you quote the person. Where is it from? If it, like for me, if it's from some clinical trials and medical research paper, I put the link of that clinical trial and medical paper, and I quote unquote, and then I put, okay, this is where this term is said. For example, I quote my health and fitness mentor from Australia. I type whatever he told me, and then I said, okay, this is from Benjamin Seong and things like that. So make sure that you give credit to whatever you read online, but try not to copy like the whole 3 or 4 paragraphs, just 1, 2 sentence, make sure that you quote it, put italics so that people know, oh, this is not something you say one, it's someone else write about it or say one, but make sure that you refer to it. Okay, make sure that you refer. It's just like writing final year project. Okay, so Muhammad Hussein, I had this plan to write but stopped in page 10 for years. Okay, so maybe time to start back. Yes, have a plan, okay? Commit to it. A lot of people want to have the end result, but they don't commit to the plan, like in many things in life. So commit to it, then I'm sure that you can be successful. I actually is on the fast path. I did my book 100 pages, 108 pages in 1 month, and proofreading another month. So for me, I consider fast already, and I did that 2 hours per day and most time on the weekend. And there are a few days where I got mental block. I don't know what to write already. So I just, never mind. I just walk away. When the mind is fresh again, then you come back and start writing. Don't leave it aside, collect dust. 10 years, probably the information is still and updated already. Nobody cares about the information anymore. So make it relevant and exciting. Okay, Sulin again. Since you write about fitness, do you show your own progress on testimonial? The only progress I show is myself. Because if I want to show my clients progress and all that, then I have to ask each and every one of them for their permission and all that. So I don't intend to do that because that's not the goal, right? That's not the goal. If they want to look at that testimony and all that, they can always go to my website. And we are welcome, lying. All right, great questions. Good that we have so many interesting questions. And this is great.
So, Yah Wen, it has been nearly 2 years since I asked you, hey, you come and share your textbook. You say you are not sharing textbook, right?
Textbook, yeah.
So I think we lack that kind of like another type of knowledge in the books per se lah. So it probably for next time from you again. And so we probably answer one more question from James, and then we can wrap it up.
Okay, so James, you have the honor of asking the last and final questions. Is there a website or source to check if our facts is correct or not? No. Number one, how do you know that website itself is having the right and correct facts? Especially in my area, health and fitness. Let me give you one example. People still cannot decide whether egg yolk is good or bad. After decades, tens and tens of years, still cannot decide whether egg yolk is good or bad. So there is no real source that say, okay, this is the golden standard and whatever. And also it depends on the book that you write, the content. If you're writing a technical book, then yeah, maybe you can have a little bit more black and white, like a 1 and 0. But if you're talking about something a little bit more abstract, all that, because different people have different opinions, so your book would form your personal opinion, what you think is the best way. Okay, so make sure that you again, share what you know, share your BKMs, your knowledge in a way that people can read and understand and see from your perspective what the thing is. For example, just now I say 50 foods to eat in Malaysia that won't make you fall sick. Then people see the title, wow, very excited, I want to see, okay, what's food number 1? But when you share your own perspective, you understand, oh, each of these food have this ABCD, and it includes like a distance from your house and taste and whatever, something like that. So you need to share that information from your perspective that makes it easy for people to understand. And sometimes it can be blur. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. That's what makes a book exciting. After you read, then it makes you think, is the author correct? Right? I read this book. I think, Billy, this called 40 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Damn, it's a very evil book. Very wrong. Teach a lot of wrong stuff, but then maybe it makes sense, right? So yeah, it makes you think. If a book, after you read it, it makes you think and come up with your own form of opinions and all that. So yeah, it's a good book.
So I think there's a rule of thumb is that you need to pick 3 books that is aligned with what you said, and probably pick another 3 books that's contradicting with that your belief, right? So and then you can make your own judgment.
Exactly. That's what makes life interesting. Also, Lynn said 50 Malaysian food recipe that will make you sick.
Okay. So I think Yah Wen again. Thanks again for doing this, and do give him a clap of hand, and then we can we see you again either this Friday or coming month. All right.
All right. Take care. Happy writing.
Alright, that's the end of the sharing from Yah Wen. I hope that Yah Wen give you a bit of inspiration and also an idea how can you start a book and also carry on forward and publish it in Malaysia. If you like what you are hearing today, do tune in and subscribe to us. If you like the video like this, I have done a custom playlist that made especially for you with the most popular videos about how to study that happily changes people's life. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again on the next video. Happy learning!